Okay, hello my wonderful friend Lucas. This is going to be your video lesson for today. Sorry I'm not seeing you in person. I saw that you're not feeling well, so I hope you're feeling much better, and I hope you don't feel sick for too long. So hopefully even by the time you're watching this, you're feeling better. So I have my computer over here and I have your lesson plan up, so I'll just go through everything on your lesson plan and we'll practice together. Let me scooch my camera a little bit closer to my piano. That way you can see what I'm doing better here. Okay, so we'll start right from the beginning of your lesson plan, and what's at the top here is our 5-finger scales. So we're gonna start with our C major 5-finger scales, and let's do right hand first. So for C major in the right hand, we're gonna put our finger 1, which is our thumb, on the C, and remember, every finger gets one note, so you don't have to pick up or share notes. Every finger gets its very own note. So in the right hand, it should look like this. We're starting on finger 1, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do that with our left hand. So you're going to do the same thing. Find C position, which just means the bottom finger goes on the note C. So in our right hand, it was our thumb, and our left hand, it's the opposite. It's our pinky, because that's at the same end of the piano. So here we go with our left hand. We start with finger 5, and we do the same thing. One note per finger. Let's try it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's find G position for our next major scale here. So G is the same note that we just played. It was the top of our C position scale. So you're going to slide your hands up on the piano. So now you're in G position. And, oh, you can't quite see my hand here. There we go. So now we're in G position. Oh, it's going to scooch back up the camera, isn't it? Hold on. Is that going to stay? Okay, it might not stay, but you know how it goes. So we have C position with C on the bottom. That means G position is G on the bottom. So let's do the same thing. We'll go our right hand first. We start on finger 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do it left hand now. Here we go. 1, oh, sorry, it's 5, isn't it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our next scale, we're so lucky. We only have to scooch up one note. So take your hands where they are already and scooch up one note. Now you're in A position, which means A is on the bottom. Now this one is going to sound a little different. So see if you can hear the difference between the first two we played and this one. So let's do a right hand again. Here we go. Finger 1 on A, and we're going all the way up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And same thing with our left hand. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so hopefully, Lucas, you heard the difference. How this one, it's called a minor scale. And if we remember, rewind your brain a little bit. Minor is the one that sounds kind of sad, kind of gloomy. Think of it like rainy skies, and you're sad, and you're sleepy, and it's maybe not the happiest day ever. But then let's hear major. Listen to the difference. Now the sun is clearing, and it's sunshiny out, and it's a happy sound. So it's funny because you actually only change one note. Listen to the difference. Minor, here's sad, and here's happy. So think of major as the happy sound. It's more of like a bright, sunny, sparkly sound. And minor is kind of more dreary, kind of gloomy, like a cloudy day. And we'll talk about what the actual difference is, like what notes are happening here, maybe later on. I won't do it in the video, but for now, remember, major is happy and minor is kind of sad, kind of gloomy. Okay, so let's keep going down your lesson plan here, Lucas. So you're going to get your lesson book now, which is the one with orange on top. So go ahead and grab that. Pause the video if you need to. Go grab whatever you need and get ready. And in this book, we're all the way on page 27. You're making awesome progress through this book, my friend. So page 27, there we go. And we have a very fun song called The Tooth Fairy. So the new note that we're learning on page 26 from last week and 27 from this week is bass clef A. And if you, oh, my computer made a noise. If you look, it's the very first note that your left hand plays in Tooth Fairy. So let me show you on the camera. It's this beautiful, lovely note right here. So we're learning bass clef A, and there's two things to remember about bass clef A. The first thing is that on the piano, this A right here, because we know there's more than one A on the piano, so which A is it, right? So this A is the one right underneath middle C. So if you find middle C and you count 1, 2 going down, that's this A right here. And one other thing to notice about this A is where it is on the page. So if you look in the bass clef, we remember that we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. And the A that we're learning today is on the very top space, the top line. So you know now, whenever you see a note on this very top line, you know for sure it's an A, and you know for sure it's the A right below middle C on your piano. Okay, so this was sounding pretty good last week. I'm going to play it here for practice at home. Try playing along with me. I think you're going to do a great job because it was sounding awesome last week. So just like always, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll start together. So let's find our starting position before anything. Right hand, you are going to be in your C position. So thumb on middle C in your right hand. And your left hand, you're not going to be in C position. You have a new position. So you're going to put your thumb in your left hand on that A that we just found. And then you're going to end up, same thing, one finger on each note. So your pinky will be on this D way down here. But we're not going to play that. We only need the A. So now that our hands are in position, ready to go, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's try playing this together. Remember, black notes are worth 1 beat, and white notes are worth 2 beats when we're counting here. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on the second line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so hopefully that went all right for you, Lucas. We're going to try it one more time here because we're going to add one more cool thing to it here, and that's our dynamics. So if you remember the word dynamics, and even if you don't, I'll tell you. So dynamics is the word we use for like our fortes and our piano. So dynamics is just the music word that tells us if it's a high or a low volume. So forte is a dynamic, piano is a dynamic, and there's a few other ones we'll learn too. But for now, forte and piano, those are types of dynamics, okay? So if you look at the very beginning of our song, we have forte, and then on the word sparkle, we have piano again. So it's 2 measures of forte, 2 measures of piano, and then on the second line, we follow the same pattern. So we have forte, piano, piano. Let's try this whole song one more time, and we'll play our fortes and our pianos. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Forte. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now shh. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to forte. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now quiet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, my friend, you can let me know how that went for you, but hopefully it was fun. I kind of think it's way more fun playing with dynamics. Do you agree? You'll have to tell me if you agree or not next week. So let's flip the page. Let's take a peek at what we have next here. And you know what? This one's really fun, Lucas. I think you're going to like it. Okay, so the very first thing we need to learn, we're actually learning a new dynamic. So that worked out really well that we just learned what a dynamic is. So look at the very top of your page here in this little area above the piano, and I'll read you what it says. So new, and you see the letter M and the letter F. So this is mezzo forte, and it means moderately loud. So you can kind of think of it as like medium loud. So now we know 3. We know piano, forte, and mezzo forte. So let's think of it like this. Piano is the softest. Mezzo forte, because it's medium loud, is in the middle. And then forte is the loudest of the ones we know so far. Okay, and then the next thing we're learning here is we're just going over how to read some notes. So our very first note of the song here, we just played it a lot on the last page. So tell me, what do you think this note is here? The top line in the bass clef. If you have an answer, great. If you don't have an answer, scooch back to Tooth Fairy and let's check and see what that note we played was. Or you can rewind to this video about 3 minutes because we just went over it. So hopefully you said that this note here is A, because that's the one we just played in our left hand. And remember, it's the A just below middle C on your piano whenever it's this top line here. So we know, and it tells us they want us to start on finger 2 in our left hand. So we know finger 2, you can go boop on this A below middle C. But of course, we don't play piano like this. So once you find the finger 2, put the rest of your fingers up on the piano and make sure finger 2 stays on A. Okay, so let's play, you know what? Let's play the first line of the song together. And then that can be what you practice at home, and we'll look at page 29 together next time. So we're starting with finger 2 on A. And if you look, these are all white notes. So are they worth 1 or 2? What do you think? Hopefully you said 2. So they're worth 2 when they're not colored in. They're just worth 1 when they are colored in. Okay, so here we go. We'll start from A. And our dynamic here is mezzo forte, so medium loud. So let's start right here with our left hand, finger 2 on A. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start. 1, 2, 3, 4. A for 2, and we're going down 1 to G, 1, 2, down to F, 1, 2, keep going down, 1, 2, and back up to A, 1, 2, G, 2, F, 2, E, 2. So my friend, hopefully that made sense. Did you notice how it was the same pattern 2 times? That's pretty cool, so you really only have to learn 4 notes, but you get to do it twice. So on page 28, my friend, please practice this line just in your left hand. Right hand gets to take a vacation until page 29. All right, this book done. We can put it away now. And if we keep going down in your lesson plan, the next thing is Brahms' Lullaby. And that's our page that says Lullaby and Good Night at the top. So go ahead and grab that if you need to take a second. Pause the video. And let's take a peek at that. All right, so it says the last we looked at this, oh darn, it just says practice up until the January 17th mark in your page. So I don't know where that is, my friend. I think we did about the first line here. So I'll go over a little bit more than that in your lesson so you have more to practice at home. Now, before we start anything, we just have to go over one new note that we learned in Lullaby and Goodnight, and that's a cool note called B flat. And it's the first time we get to play some of these black notes, which is pretty exciting. So to play a B flat, we have to find a B on the piano first, just a normal B hanging out. And what a flat does to the note is it puts it 1 note lower. So I know sometimes we think that A is the next note right under B, and the alphabet kind of tells us that too, right? A, B, C, that makes sense. But on the piano, every key counts as a note. So the black notes and the white notes are both notes just the same. So for B flat, instead of going to A, we're actually going to go just underneath to this black note right underneath. And that's called B flat. So let's just review what a flat means. So flat is when you take a note and you lower it to the next closest note. And that's called a half step, just the shortest distance. So let's practice. Let's see, this is D on the piano. So D flat would be this black note right here. Let me do another example down here. You can see it a bit better. So this is A, and then A flat would be this black note right here. And let's say this is G. So G flat would be this black note right here. Now, the times when flats get a little bit tricky is if you look at your piano, Lucas, there's 2 different spots on the piano where you have 2 white notes in a row. So try not to think of flats as being just black notes. It just means the next note underneath. So find an F on your piano, and now play the next white note underneath it, which is normally an E, but we can also sometimes call this note F flat, which I know is crazy, but every note on the piano has 2 different names. Now, I know this is a lot of information, so if that's a little confusing, you can ask me as many questions as you want. And don't worry, we're going to keep learning all of these things. We'll keep going over them. So if there's a little bit that you're not sure about, that's okay. We'll learn it together. So for now, just remember, B flat is the black note right underneath B, right here. You can also think of it as if you have middle C right here, you count down 2 notes, and that's B flat right there. Okay, so for lullaby and goodnight, lucky us, we're starting on our same favorite A that we've been starting on today. So we start with finger 3 in our left hand on the A below middle C. And just let your fingers fall into place here. So each note is attached to one finger, and you keep your finger 3 on A. For our right hand, we want, actually your thumbs are both going to be on middle C, Lucas. So you want finger 4 in your right hand on F. So this is our starting position. Your thumbs are neighbors. They're sharing middle C here. So let's start from the beginning. We have A, C to start in our left hand. And we'll go nice and slow. So we won't worry about counting just yet. Don't worry, we'll practice counting. But for now, let's just figure out our notes. So we start with A, C in the left hand. Let's go together. Here we go. A, C, and again, A, C. Now we have just one A, C. Now right hand takes over. We have F, E, D again, C. Now left hand, you play finger 4 on G, G, A, and this note here is B flat, G, A, B flat. Good job. G, B flat, F, E, D, C, E, F. So, hopefully, my friend, you stayed with me, but like I said, if that was a little confusing, that's totally okay, because it's still a pretty new idea, this. So let me play it for you once, just so you can hear what it sounds like all together, and just so you know, in case you lost where we were a little bit, we went all the way to the end of line 2, except for the last 2 notes, because that starts the phrase on line 3. So have a listen. I'll just play it once so you can hear it. So you might even recognize that because it's a pretty famous lullaby. Maybe mommy or daddy have sung it to you at nighttime. Who knows? Or maybe grandma or grandpa or auntie or uncle, anyone. So you've probably heard this song before, but if you haven't, that's okay. So I'm going to play it one more time, nice and slow. Try and play along with me this time. And this time we're going to count. And Lucas, don't worry if you don't understand the counting yet, because we haven't really learned how to count eighth notes yet. So if it's a little confusing, just try and follow me for timing, and we'll learn how to do the counting next time. So we're going to start when I say number 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and we're starting on 3. So we'll go nice and slow though. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 1 and 2 3 and 1 and 2 So if that was still a little bit too quick, Lucas, no problem at all. In this little corner here, you might need mom or dad to help, but in this little corner, there's a button you can push called settings, and then you want to push on playback speed, and then you want to push on custom, and there's a cool little slidey bar. You can actually slow down the video of me playing that, and that way you can practice along. If it was a little bit too quick, you can slow it down. So let's try and go as much as we played here. That was up until the word bed, almost at the end of line 2. Try practicing that much at home. And like I said, if it's a little bit confusing, I know we just started this, that's okay. But do your best, and if you have questions, you let me know next time. So we just have one more book to go through. Let me scroll down your lesson here. Yes, one more book. Okay, now we're in your writing book, Lucas. So go ahead and grab this. It's got the yellow on top. That's the one we want. And you're going to flip all the way to page 23 and 24, because that's where we stopped. 23. Okay, so page 23 is very, very fun, very cool. We're learning all about a guy named Mozart. And you told me last week you hadn't heard of Mozart before. So let me give you 2 examples. Tell me, do you recognize this song? Maybe you've heard it before. exactly right, but maybe you recognize that. Here's another one. Do you know this one? And I'll stop there because I don't know that one by heart without looking at the music. So if you haven't heard those, that's okay, but maybe you have. Where's the page? There you go. And like I said, my friend, even if you haven't heard those, now you have it. Now you know that those are two different Mozart songs. So on this page, this was kind of like an interview. You got to tell me things about yourself. So the first one is, what is your full name? And then it says, can you think of something someone has done kindly for you? And then over here, you get to draw, so this is a number 2, and you're going to draw the type of beat here that's worth 2 beats. So you can show me that next week and think about, is it a note that's colored in or not colored in? Think about that. And then here, you have to find the name Mozart 5 times. So you can show me that too next week. So that was page 23. Let's flip on over to page 24 because we looked at this too. Okay, and it says we started page 24 in your lesson last week. So let's just go over it together. And I think this is just our note of the day. It's our favorite note because we're focusing on the bass clef A. So really quick, let's just pause, make sure we remember. Find bass clef A, this one right here on the piano. Try and think about where it is with middle C. Is it far or close to middle C? So I'll give you a sec to find on your piano, and then I'll show you on my piano. So if this is middle C right here, this is the A, just right underneath. So that's this A here on the top line. Okay, so I'll use this to point. So we'll go over these here. So each of these notes in the tooth is either an A, C, D, or E. So let's see which is which. So this first note here, let's see, we're in the bass clef and it's on the top line. So shout out your answer. What note is that? Hopefully you said A. So the first line, we should go to A. Next up here, so we're in the treble clef now, and it looks like we're right below the first line here. We know that first line is E, so this must be a D. So we have a line from here to D on number 2. Next up, we already know. So we remember our first line in the treble clef is E. So this one, E here. And to finish off the first row, we're back to the bass clef. We're on the top line here. So let's check. Does this note look like the same note as this note? The answer is yes. So this is an A2. So this line goes all the way over here. Now we're on row number 2. So this note right here, well, we just did an E. So we know that E is this line. So this has to be D. So from here we go all the way up here. Okay, and then next we have this note. We're in the bass clef, and we have our top line again. So this is another A. Here we have, we haven't seen this one yet. So here we're in the treble clef, and we know right away this is our first note that we ever learned. It's our favorite note in the world. It's middle C. So this one right here, we draw a line to C. And then last but not least, this one right here. And it's that bottom line in the treble clef, so we know that that is E. So we'll go over this together next week in your lesson, and I think there's probably a sticker in it for you, my friend. So make sure if you have any questions that you make sure to ask me what your questions are next week. So let's look at page 25 in your lesson for the last, in your book for the last thing on your lesson today. And we have a really cool activity here. So this guy's name is Tucker, the little doggy, and whenever you see him in your book, you know that it's a listening activity. So we have a cool listening activity here, and we're practicing dynamics. Now, do you remember what dynamics means? Let me give you a hint. So forte and piano, and the new one we learned mezzo forte. Those are all types of dynamics. So they're different volumes. Piano is the softest, mezzo forte is in the middle, and then forte is the loudest. So what we're doing here is I'm going to play you some cool little songs down here, and you're going to tell me if I played it forte, mezzo forte, or piano. So before we start, let me show you the 3 volumes so you can listen to them. So forte is going to sound about this loud. Mezzo forte will be like this. And piano will be like this. here is example number 1. Listen closely and see if you think it's piano, mezzo forte, or forte. So here's the first example. Have a listen. So, hopefully you said either forte or mezzo forte. I was going for forte, but I know over the video it's a little hard to tell the difference. So, forte on that first one. Here's example number 2. So that one, I was going for piano. So hopefully you heard that it was quite soft there. Okay, and number 3, here we go. That one was forte, right? And hopefully you recognize the song. Okay, here is example number, what are we on? 4 now. So we're on, yes, number 4. Okay, here is number 4. So that was quiet, right? So that was piano. Here's number 5. Again, I know the medium ones are kind of hard to tell, but that one I was going for mezzo forte, so about a medium volume. Okay, now this is one of my favorite songs in the world, so I hope you like it too. It's called Beethoven's Fifth. It's a super fun song. So have a listen, tell me if it's forte, mezzo forte, or piano. So I was going for forte that time, nice and loud. So there we go, my friend. This is your video lesson for today. We're going to look at page 26 together in your next lesson because we haven't learned the page in our lesson book just yet. So I hope you're feeling much, much, much better, and I hope you have an awesome week, and I will see you next time in your piano lesson. Bye, Lucas. Take care.